welcome into this special edition of Maybe I'm the Crazy One podcast. I'm your host, Alex Chandler. No special intros today, no anything like that. We're working on one specific thing. And we're going to be talking about Khiry Shelton today, guys. And I have the one question to ask. Do we deserve better? And by the end of the show, I don't think you're going to think that question has the same definition as what you think it does right now. Yesterday, Sporting played in Montreal and won 2-1 on the road. They came back from a losing position, which is the first time they've done that in 10 opportunities this year. And Khiry Shelton was a big part of that. Khiry got himself an assist last night, his first assist in MLS play. But it's not his first assist of the year. And through the course of the season, there's been a lot of hate thrown towards Khiry, or at least why Khiry is playing. And I'm here to defend Khiry today and ask, do we deserve better from our fans and the people that follow this team that are talking shit on Khiry Shelton? So do we deserve better? I believe the answer is yes. Khiry has been put in a tough spot where no matter what he does, it's going to look like he's not doing enough. And the reason is because of our designated players who were supposed to be here for the season, at least one of them was, in Khiry, are gone. And, not to put this into a different echelon or different perspective, but it's kind of important. Last year with them, we were almost the number 1 seed. And now this year without them, we're in 14th. And I think that's kind of important to know. And it's not Khiry's fault that we're in 14th. If you look at his entire career, outside of being a young kid down in the USL groups for NYCFC through 55 games, he only scored 6 goals. In his first stint with Sporting Kansas City, through 20 games, he only scored 2 goals. And now through 65, he's scored 8. He has 16 career MLS goals. Half of them have came in the last 2 years, or 3 years, I'm sorry. He's not a scorer. That's not his job. That's not the way that he plays that position. We got to recognize when Peter and the other people say that he does the things off the ball, that he actually is. And I don't know if you actually can comprehend what they're trying to tell you. And I'm not trying to be like Kevin Durant right now when he's like, oh, you don't understand, you just don't understand. But that's kind of the truth, guys. Yesterday, for example, I watched 4 different balls that Khiry placed as passes to Johnny Russell or Daniel Shalhoub or Remy Voltaire, whoever it was, that were running towards the goal that ended up not in goals. That could have and should have been potentially assists. And that happens game in and game out. Also, if you watch the broadcasts of the game, you're going to see Nate Bukaty call out Khiry Shelton's name all over the field, whether it's on defense, on offense, in the midfield, attacking play in the final third. He's lost some quality in his touch. I do agree with that. He has a heavy foot when he tries to dribble it himself and go for long distances, and that's a problem. But we also got to recognize Khiry wasn't brought in to play this role of a scorer. That's just not who he is. It's never who he's been. Khiry was brought in as a backup striker to play that false 9 type of role. And we could play the false 9 if we had a Khiry. But instead, we don't. And so he's continuing to play the role that they're trying to have him play and what he was brought in to play. It's just things aren't finishing the same way that they would have if we even had just Khiry. There is a lot of things that Khiry could probably be better at, but we got to stop counting his minutes from when he scores goals. That's the one thing that has pissed me off the most that I've seen about Khiry Shelton is when's the last time that he scored a goal? I saw a stat put out there from yesterday, somebody yesterday, that said that he hadn't scored a goal in 1,356 minutes, had a goal or an assist. Guys, that's MLS play. And in Kyrie's last 9 total games that he's played across all competitions, he has 2 goals and 3 assists. Like, Khiry is performing to the same accord as a lot of average strikers in the league currently. I mean, for goodness sakes, the guy from Montreal that was hurt, Mihailovic, he had 7 goals and 4 assists in all competitions of 17 games, and he was in an MVP race. Yet somehow Khiry, who has, 5 less goals and 1 less assist over half of that span. So granted, he has had a full complement of games this year, 14, but in that half of that span, that was 9 games, he has 2 goals and 3 assists now. We got to recognize that there's other competitions going on. It's not just MLS play, and his value to this team comes from all competitions, not just MLS play, and we got to give the man credit for that. Additionally, just like the rest of the team is, everybody is hurting this year in sport, as a part of Sporting Kansas City, because they're missing 2 of their designated players. And sometimes you'll be missing 1 and you'll be okay. Have them in and out of the lineup. You can't have 2 missing for the entire season and expect to be okay. Now, I know we still have Johnny Russell. He's our 3rd guy, and he's going to be there forever. And Daniel Shalhoub plays as if he is a DP, which is great. But there's other teams that also have those same setups and similarities. And those teams can continue to win as well. Except they still have their other DPs. And that's the biggest difference here. You got to remember, guys, Khiry is a backup. Let me say that again for everybody that didn't understand that. Khiry is a backup. He's not the starter. Just because he's starting doesn't mean that he was supposed to be the starter for this season. When Sporting Kansas City looked at their outlook for the season, they put Alan Pulido as their starting striker. He's the starting striker of the future. He is that 9 that they want in that role. And yet, we're basically putting Khiry into that same echelon as Alan Pulido, and that's not who he is. And that's okay. Khiry is still an excellent player without being that person. Khiry deserves the love and credit that we would have given Alan Pulido for being there. Alan Pulido doesn't play as much defense as Khiry. Alan Pulido's not good at the hold-up as Khiry. Alan Pulido doesn't hold the possession so we can get people behind him. Alan Pulido will take that damage and either try to turn it on himself or he'll fall because he simulates the foul. And I love Alan. But let's be honest. I've watched the man fall a lot of times when he wasn't actually fouled. On the reverse side, Khiry gets fouled constantly when the ball's in the air coming to him, and yet nothing is called, and he has to constantly look around like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm really here right now, on the ground, my shirt's half up, I got cleats in my freaking calves, guys, and you're not going to call anything? Okay. Are there games that he plays worse than other games? Yeah, sure. There's other players that do that too. And I'm also not surprised when the guy that was supposed to be the second string striker has more of those games than what a first team striker would have. If you want to be upset at somebody, be upset at, the coaching staff, the technical staff, the people making the decisions on the players for not adequately trying to bring in somebody to have that same level as Allen did. But then you kind of can't because he was a DP. And you can't replace a DP with another DP when you have all your DPs taken care of. And I've said that term a lot, but DP means designated player. If you don't know what that means, you can look it up. I just want to make sure everybody is aware of what I'm talking about. But the people who will probably listen to this will know what that is. Another thing, if you really want to put Kyrie in that echelon of other players, right? You know, the players that we're missing, the players that we paid to be the guys to score goals, that's fine. I'll let you do that. You can say that, oh, well, he's the starter that they chose. He has to perform at that level. Okay, I'll let you have that. Could you ask the rest of the team to do that too, by the way? Yeah, I really have that question. Because if you look at our team, until yesterday, only 2 players had scored multiple goals on the season. Now 6 players have scored, and now Remy has joined that group of the players that have scored multiple goals. So, 3 players now. And then only 2 players have multiple assists on the season. That's Cam Duke and Felipe Hernandez. Everybody else who has an assist has 1, and so Kyrie's now tied for 3rd on the team for assists in MLS play. Huh. So he would be tied for 4th in goals if he scored just 1 goal, and he would be tied, or he's already tied for 3rd in assists with 1 assist. It sounds like there's a bigger problem than Kyrie scoring goals. It sounds like there's a team deficiency in being able to attack in the final third. I don't think that's a Kyrie problem. I think that's, again, an organizational level problem, but also probably stems from the fact that we, again, don't have our 2 best scorers on the field. So how about we give Khiry Shelton a break? Because the man plays hard. The man works his ass off. The man comes in, doesn't say anything, fights, gets fouled, doesn't get them called, and continues to go out there game in and game out and do the dirty work that you don't give him credit for. How about we start giving the man some fucking respect? How about you give Khiry Shelton his flowers? Because half of the things that we see today, we don't see without Khiry Shelton. There's a reason that Winovich played games but didn't overtake him on the roster, and now ultimately is gone. There's a reason. He was questionable for 11 straight games with a calf injury. Questionable. A lot of times when a player is questionable on this team, you see them at least once in that 10-game stretch. At least once. It's unlikely that questionable players end up not playing for, months on it. Khiry is a good player. Khiry is an MLS player. Khiry was not intended to be the starter that he is right now. If he was intended, they would have never brought in Alan Pulido. So that begs the question, do we deserve better? And by we, I do mean sporting fans, from people who are criticizing Khiry Shelton and skewing your viewpoint of what he actually provides to this team. Many runs per game, like I said earlier, end up with passes from Kai that end up, nicked by a player, which causes them not to have an assist anymore, or, passes that, are great passes that don't end up in goals. Khiry fights. Khiry earns everything that he ends up getting, and he's put it all on the line for you guys. And I know he sees the things that everybody posts about, oh, it's been 1,100 minutes since Khiry has scored. It's been this, it's been that. Khiry doesn't do enough. You're wrong. Just flatly, you are wrong. And Khiry Shelton, if you're listening to this, man, which is highly doubtful, but if you're listening, on behalf of Kansas City, I want to apologize to you. You deserve better. You deserve to be supported the same way other players are supported. I don't hear anybody yelling that Uri doesn't have a goal. Because that's not his gameplay. That's not his style. Like, come on, guys. Just because he has 0 goals, you got to look at the full totality of the picture. First off, man's got 2 goals. U.S. Open Cup counts. Secondly, he's not a goal scorer. He's not going to be that guy that gets you 15 to 18 goals a season from that number 9 role. He's the guy that's going to get you about 3 goals and 4 assists a year. And he's on lesser pace than that right now. But wait a second. If you look at all competitions, what's he have? Oh yeah, that's right. 2 goals and 3 assists. He's well on his way to providing us what he should be able to provide us and what we should expect from him. If you have a problem with the amount of goals that Khiry Shelton has scored, that's a you problem, buddy. Khiry Shelton never once came in and said, oh man, I'm going to be that goal scorer for you guys. He said, I'm going to work my ass off, I'm going to be here for you, and I'm going to do my best to help this team win, whatever that takes. And he displays that game in and game out. Whether it's he's playing defense in the box, trying to protect a lead, or he's out in front taking up these aerial balls as we're losing, as we're trailing, getting fouled and not getting calls. Guys, we deserve to be better. Fans of Sporting Kansas City, you deserve to be better for yourself. Because all you do is make yourself look like an ass when you start talking about things that you don't actually understand or you don't actually care to remember. I care to remember because I care to see all parts of the field. I care to remember because people deserve credit for, what they do. Logan Ndembe doesn't have any assists on the season. Is Logan Ndembe hurting us because he plays that up the side of the wing? Are we going to call him out for not doing anything? No, because Logan Ndembe has been an incredible player this season. We've just been bad. I think there's other problems, like our lack of, the ability to hold possession in the midfield that lead to others not being able to score as many goals as well. You can't hold the ball in the midfield. You can't maintain possession in the midfield. You can only maintain it in the final third on both sides. That's a problem. But that's not a Khiry problem. Kyrie's playing up top. He's your big body that you throw the ball up to and hope he can hold it. Except the rest of the team isn't running up to those balls when Kyrie's there, so he ultimately loses the ball anyway or has to play it back, which everybody also hates. Watch the whole game, guys. That's all I'm asking. Watch the whole game. And you'll see the value that Khiry Shelton provides to Sporting Kansas City, game in and game out. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the slander towards Khiry Shelton. Khiry, you deserve better, and I'm sorry. We all deserve to be better for Khiry Shelton. Khiry, not one of our highest paid players on this team, busts his ass, takes all of your shit daily, and still comes out with a smile on his face and thanks you for being a fan. How about you be a fan then and support the guy instead of constantly criticizing him? I don't hear about how long it's been for anybody else that scored a goal this year, how long it's been since they've scored goals. It's only Khiry Shelton. And it's only because you expect something more out of that role. And unfortunately, that's just not his game, guys. I'm sure he would love to score goals for you. I'm sure he knows how to score goals. But that's not his game. So how about we stop giving him shit for it? And start praising him for the hard-ass work he actually does do. Because the man runs all around the field. All around the field. And with that, that's our special episode for the day. Khiry, again, thank you for all that you do. I know at least I love you and my family loves you here in Kansas City. And we'll see you later.